go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chronically Chill. I'm Neurotic Nico here with my co-hosts, the Behçet Beauty and Jeanie. Today we are talking about me, my self-advocacy, and I. It's the episode where we talk about everything self-advocacy and the ups and downs of all of that, and in a system where people just don't like to listen. So I wanted to open up with a question to my co-hosts, and I will give my answer right after. And the question is, what does self-advocacy mean to you? And for me, it means making myself heard in a forum of people that not only see me as the lesser, but also as someone who is not educated in these certain subjects. I will admit that I don't have enough training. I'm not medically educated, but the one thing that I am educated in is my own body. So with that, I'm going to give it to Jeanie, and we'll go from there.
Well, when it comes to self-advocacy, like you're not educated when it comes to like medical terms of epilepsy, but like I'm educated when it comes to my body, when it comes to how I live with epilepsy. So like when I self-advocate, I want to spread the knowledge of what it's like to live with epilepsy, what it's like to be in the community of epilepsy. Like when I was diagnosed, I had no clue of what epilepsy was. I heard of seizures, but that's about all I knew. So when I was diagnosed, I didn't know what was going on with my life. You know, I was 28 years old in the middle of getting my degree, in my bachelor's degree. And so I didn't know what was going on with my life and why this was happening. So I was educated through the community of others who are out there self-advocating about epilepsy. So that's how I learned. So that's how I learned how to self-advocate for myself, by putting the awareness out, spreading the news about epilepsy. And that's how I learned about different types of seizures, because other people were out there self-advocating. You know, they're spreading the awareness about epilepsy and what types of seizures. Because the only type of seizure I actually knew about at that time was malls, or as they're now called, tonic. I didn't know about absent seizures. I didn't know about auras. I didn't know about focal seizure. I didn't know any of that. So when I had those types of seizures, I didn't know what was going on. My neurologist didn't teach me that. It was the community of epilepsy, you know, because they were out there doing this self-advocacy. They were spreading the awareness. They were spreading the education. So we have to advocate for ourselves. We have to get out there and spread that knowledge, because if we don't, who's going to do it for us? Who's going to spread that awareness? If we don't do it, no one else can do that for us. Because, like Nico said, no one listens. No one listens. And that is kind of painful when you think about it. Because it hurts knowing that we have to live to life. At the same time, no one listens to us. But we want to get that knowledge out there. We want more people to be aware of what we go through. Because being diagnosed later in life, it hit me out of nowhere. So I had to learn on my own, as well as my family. So people probably say, they probably get tired of me advocating on over and over, but I don't care. I want to get that. I want more people to learn about epilepsy, the different types, because there's over 40 different types of seizures.
Right.
So people need to be aware of that. They need to be aware of the first aid, first aid.
Absolutely.
They need to know you don't put a spoon in someone's mouth when they're having a seizure.
Thank you.
Where to turn someone on their side when they're having a seizure. They can't be. Don't leave someone. If someone face plants when they're having a seizure, do not leave them like that. They stop breathing, they will die. Turn them on their side. If they land on their back, turn them on their side. They need to be aware of that, because no matter how heavy that person is or how skinny that person is, you have to turn them on their side. They need to be aware of that. We have to self-advocate. Awareness is important. There are there are there are emergency medications that need to be put out there. You know, like I have my medication I carry with me everywhere I go. If I have a seizure, I have to have my medication with me. People need to be aware. Everybody with a chronic illness needs to self-advocate. People are aware of what's going on with my body. You know, we have to be aware of this. Everybody has to be aware. So I don't care how I get on your nerves because I self-advocate. If you don't listen, that's on you if you don't listen. So that means if you don't listen, you need to go somewhere else and stay out of my life. It's as simple as that.
Look, listen. I done put the army fatigue on, the camo, because I'm just ready to go in about this topic, yo, right? And one thing that I noticed that both of y'all said were that you're not medically educated or have that background knowledge in it, that formal education. But let me tell you, I do. And I have seen doctors and professionals who should have it and don't. I've had symptoms since I was 2 or 3 months old, so this has basically been my whole life, and it took over 20 years for them to figure out that I had a rare disorder. Now, granted, it's very rare or whatnot, and a lot of doctors don't come across it. That made me have to self-advocate even more because I literally knew more than them because they didn't even have the formal education behind it. And the education that was out there, I did not fit those typical demographics. And had I not been in the medical field to push them and keep advocating for myself, I would be dead. I've read the statistics on minorities of African descent that have Behçet's disorder, and 9 times out of 10, out of the 10 cases that I did see, including my own, they were diagnosed post-mortem after the fact, which defeats the purpose. So that, I did my thesis on Behçet's, the immunogenetics of Behçet's, just so I could further educate myself. Of course, I know what I was experiencing, but just to get that scientific aspect of it. And, you know, even what you were saying with the epilepsy, everything I've learned about epilepsy, I've learned from our community. Like you said, the over 40 different types of seizures. That's why I realized a lot of symptoms that I was having, dizzy spells and blackouts and stuff like that. I'm thinking this epilepsy diagnosis was just new and out the blue. Come to find out, I've been having them all my life, but wasn't aware because, like you said, the stereotypical seizure is that tonic-clonic or grand mal that everybody's used to seeing. And even EMTs, emergency personnel, even doctors are not aware of the first aid for seizures. And when I'm going in and out those episodes and I hear somebody say, grab a spoon, it just sends my anxiety through the roof because I'm still semi-conscious and cannot control my body. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to depend on these people and put my life in their hands. Please don't let them choke me. Please roll me over so I don't choke on my own vomit. It's like that movie Awake where the guy is under anesthesia but he's completely alert but cannot move his body, and he can literally feel every cut, every stitch, everything, and he's literally screaming in his head. It's that same scenario where you're just like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please somebody that knows what's going on come in and make sure that I'm good. And that is very frightening because the professionals don't even know. That I've seen so many times. I've been in the ER and I'll have an episode and they do this thing with your chest. They'll thump on your chest or hit you real hard on the chest like they're almost about to do CPR on you and then be like, oh, she's not having a seizure. I've had one nurse spray me with a water bottle in my eyes like I was a cat that did something wrong or whatnot. And my eyes were twitching because that's one of the symptoms of my focal seizure. She's like, oh, she's not having a seizure. Mind you, I'm pissing everywhere, vomiting, gagging, choking. Oh, no, she's not having a seizure. I was so bruised up. So, it was it was just a horrible experience. Like, I thought they were going to crack my ribs trying to do CPR, and sometimes I stopped breathing during my episodes. I have horror stories for days. That's why I said save me for last, because I was so
Hell no.
on this. And I mean, like I said, I literally have stories for days about I had to advocate and write blogs, documentaries, everything, because if we don't say it, who will? It's our lives. I don't want y'all to find out the information post-mortem. I'm not here anymore.
Exactly.
Like,
I like what you said about typical demographics, because a lot of times, like, I literally just learned now how many seizures there are, like, just now, and it's blowing my mind, because what you said, typical demographics, a lot of times chronic illnesses do not have, like, just a looking one way, especially when it comes to the brain, when it comes to your nervous system, like with seizures, like with MS. I like a lot of people that I see online like to say that MS is the snowflake disease because it presents in so many different ways, and like for me, it's mostly exhaustion and a mental fog, and you know, that doesn't sound bad when I'm putting it like that, but it is debilitating to me personally, and that's what I'm trying to get at with this whole like self-advocacy thing, to where how Jasmine said, things don't portray themselves like textbook all the time. So it's really important to be like, hey, this thing that I'm experiencing, it might not sound like this, but I know for a fact it is this thing because I'm the one that has to live with it, you know? Like, I'm the one that has to deal with this every day of my life. So I'm just saying, hey, maybe you should listen to the people that go through these things instead of just brushing them off because you don't see them as educated, as I don't know, as well, like they have the right to be talking about these things. Like they don't have a doctor in front of their name or something, you know?
Right.
That part, yes. Yeah,
when in actuality, doctors are dummies with degrees. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cut you off, but I had to just
okay. You're right. Like, I feel like they try to dumb you down after you're diagnosed, you know? Because like I said, I was in the middle of getting my bachelor's degree, but it feels like after I started, there's people like tried to look down at me after that. And it's like I remember one time I was in a room with people and I was having an absence seizure. Like, I'm still aware of what's going on around me, but I can't move my mouth, I can't talk, but I can hear. I can see straight. I'm looking straight at you, but I can't see. I can't talk about it. I can't talk anything. So they were talking, had a full conversation. I could hear everything they were saying. They weren't aware that I could hear everything they were saying. So they talking all about me, but I can't say anything. So I started I'm just looking at them like, bitches, I heard you. I heard every fucking thing you said. Excuse my friend. Because I was pissed. But I didn't say nothing. So when I stopped talking to them, they didn't understand why. But it's because I heard everything you said about me while I was in a state of having a seizure. Because when you realize I came out of a seizure after what y'all were talking about, y'all were like, my bad. It's too late now. So now that I've pulled away from the entire group of people, and now that you see why I self-advocate even more, even harder, because now you realize I don't just have one type of seizure or two types of seizure. I have like 5 types of seizures, and I push so hard because I'm on 4 different medications for seizures. I've had a VNS replacement put into my body. I'm on 4 medications because I was having 6 or 7 seizures a day after being diagnosed. I push for advocacy for that fact because people do not understand what we go through. Chronic illness. Some people are diagnosed when they're babies. Some people are diagnosed when they're teenagers or like in middle school, and then it hits us like us in the middle of life. So No one is exempt. Some people can go all their lives living healthy lives, and there's some people who are just smack in the middle of life. So self-advocacy is important. So if you don't like self-advocating, then keep going about your marital life, and thank God you are blessed with a healthy life. But leave the rest of us alone if you're not going to listen. That's how I feel about it.
Preach.
She got it. Yeah, no, I think she hit it on the head. Oh my God. Oh, because you have to, in a way, be your own researcher. You have to be your own. You have to have your back in. Oh man, and like it's like having your own back in a fight against fucking the whole medical system, because you have to come with receipts. You have to come with studies. You have to come with notes, with everything that you've taken down, and put it in a way that people who see themselves as much smarter than you can understand it and believe it. And that is the hardest part of this. It's getting doctors, getting therapists, getting anyone to actually believe that you are going through something that is going to you. They just see themselves. Oh, I have the education and this person doesn't. So
that's the main thing I want to hit on. When you said I was just over here itching. The egos that these medical providers have because of their degrees and this God complex have literally gotten people killed. They will put you on medications, have you do these procedures and stuff because of medical evidence, or that's what the book says, when you are telling them, I am allergic to this does not work for me, X, Y, Z. I'm the doctor, I know what's best, da-da-da-da-da. And if you do not self-advocate and say, well, I know what's best, this is my body, I live in it 24/7, you will literally die. I have seen so many negligent cases where this has happened. A medical doctor in the United Kingdom had a rare disorder that he even studied and researched himself. He ended up having an episode in the hospital, and he's telling the doctors, this is what worked for me and this was what doesn't. The doctor took that as an insult to his ego and decided to do what he wanted to do anyway, and this man died. He was a physician. He was a medical personnel. And because of someone's inflated ego, he lost his life. So if that happens to a medical professional, a research specialist, a doctor who has the so-called formal education, what do you think is happening to the common person that believes that their doctor is the best person for answers because they don't know the medical jargon and know any better?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why self-advocating, you have to have this confidence to just look at someone who calls themselves a professional and be like, no, I'm sorry, you are incorrect. You are wrong.
I don't even say sorry.
I know. Don't even say sorry. Don't apologize. Don't apologize for being like, hey, what you are saying is wrong, because you have to. You have to, but the ego comes into play, so you might have to say sorry, just to stroke their little egos and be like, okay,
I ain't stroking shit.
Like, nah.
Reach. Oh my God.
Like, you wrong, I'm right.
I ain't stroking nothing. You gonna learn today.
Yeah, no, it takes its toll on people. Like, it's taking its toll on me, and I'm pretty sure it's taking its toll on you. It's just, you have to just keep at it. I feel like that is the most difficult part, is fighting for yourself constantly.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what it is. You are in your own corner, fighting against the whole ass medical system, and you have to just be prepared for that. And for a lot of people that's not feasible, which it's great to have, you know, people in your corner with you, but then are they going to be believed? Are they going to be able to?
Or do they even believe you?
Yeah,
That part.
yeah, that's even a bigger part. But
That.
yeah.
Ooh, that self-advocacy, like what you just brought up, the fighting. We are constantly fighting 24/7. If it's not against our own bodies, our immune systems, a disrupted, regulated system, then if it's not interior, like, you know, the disease itself, then it's exterior, the ripple effect of what the disease impacts.
Right.
And then, like you said, then you still got to fight outsiders and advocate for yourself and still put on a brave face and everything. And then again, which we're going to get on eventually, don't let you have a mental health aspect tied to it, because then apparently all credibility goes out the window.
Oh man, I'm making such a oh my god. Sorry. No, I've had so many fucking just issues when it comes to being diagnosed with a mental illness and also having something physical. We will definitely get into that one eventually, because that one gets me so heated, and I could go on for hours about that. I just if I could,
I'm sorry, y'all. Just FYI, my screen has froze up, so if the recording part doesn't click over, then that's what's going on.
Well, I'm just heated over here, so you're good. I just, if I could go back though and choose not to be diagnosed formally with a mental illness, I definitely would. Just because it would make things so much fucking easier.
Yeah, because I remember when formally diagnosed me with depression and anxiety, I was like, is that really a diagnosis? Because I was like, I didn't want to be, you know, I didn't want that written down. I was like, I'm fine. It's just, you know, because, you know, my neurologist, it was because 2 of my medications were mixed together. I said, that's all it is, really. I mean, that's all it is. But then I thought about it, going back through the years. I was like, all the sadness and all the anger, you know, all the hate and all that. I was like, okay, maybe it is mental anxiety, maybe it is, but, you know, add up that plus the seizures and everything that was going on. And, whew, it's a lot to deal with. Mental
But that
issues,
makes me wonder if it's really a diagnosis or is it a symptom of everything that's going on. Like, what do you expect the normal reaction to be to all of this?
Exactly. Like to have somebody say that, you question a lot. That's a lot to do with. It's just a lot. So many questions.
Ooh.
And not enough answers. That's
that part.
Like you could ask for answers from every medical professional you come across, but they either won't even bother answering your question, or they will give you the, oh, it's your anxiety, or it's your mental. I don't want to get into.
I get it.
They will say, I've literally had doctors and nurses be like, oh, the fact that you are having issues feeling your legs right now, you're having issues walking, is because of your anxiety, or because you smoked too much weed, or... I can't. I can't. It's like, what kind of fucking weed do you think I'm smoking to where I can't feel the whole lower half of my body? Like,
what's the MS diagnosis? Like, really?
Yeah, what kind of strange do you think I'm...
And still I sigh. Oh, I hope everything is still recording and doing good on y'all's end, because I'm having some glitches over here.
For once, it's not me.
Right. Actually, let me go on mute because I had a call coming in. Guess I ain't answering enough. Fast enough.
I think
we're real.
Aren't we?
All right. Yes, we are. I'm gonna say bye real quick because I have a call coming. So we still should be recording.
I think. We good? I think we're good.
Okay.
Alright. So, closing remarks. You want to say anything, Jeanie?
I just want to say that keep pushing, keep advocating, keep just doing, and keep being yourself, no matter what.
Yeah, that's honestly perfect, because that's really what you have to do. You have to put yourself forward. You have to take all the things that you have, take all the knowledge that you have, not just about yourself, but about the things that you are going through, and put that forward, and continue to put it forward, no matter how many people try to keep pushing you back. You have to be the loudest voice in your corner. You have to just be your biggest supporter, and it takes a lot, but you've got this. So
yeah.
Okay. I think she left. I don't know if that means it stops recording though. We'll see. But yeah. Oh, I think we're good.
Okay.
Guys, we don't know what to do now. Like, oh, there she goes. Back.
She's back.
She's back.
Is she?
I heard the ding.
Ding ding. Jazz.
Guys, we don't know. Oh, there she goes. And she's gone.
My stuff is. Oh my god.
There she goes. We don't know if this stopped recording after you left. So.
It should have, because it said it was still recording.
Oh, okay.
We did closing remarks.
I hope not. We would, what's that thing? It should have kept recording because I hope it didn't. I will go back and check. Of course, my stuff will be the one that want to act up today. It's always something, but I like that it also shows, this is real. This is not a production, or what's the word I want to use? Yeah, it's not a production. This is really like real life. Like, we really be sitting in front of the computer just wrapping it up, talking about whatever comes to mind in these topics and stuff. Like, we ain't got no sound produced stage, no grand lights, we ain't doing no extra video editing, ain't no makeup and all that gimmicks. Like, nah, we just real folks talking about real shit.
Right.
So with that being said, we will hopefully see how this video plays out. This one might be the remix. We'll let Nico work his magic on that. So we'll wrap it up and go from there, and we will see everybody next episode. I don't know the topic of episode off the top of my head. Let me check the notes. Check notes. Yes, hazardous for me, normal to you will be the next topic. If we don't go ahead and things that are hazardous for us to do.
What normal for others?
Live like
taking a shower.
What? Cutting up already.
Has me almost busting my eyes and cracking my head open in the shower. We got this. We got this one. Okay. Thank you for watching.
Right. Bye.